All right. Good evening, everybody. Happy Tuesday. This is our Rising Leaders Huddle. We come together every month on the second Tuesday of the month at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And when I say we, I mean the lead star and superstar consultants within the Sunshine State Superstars group. And tonight we are in for a special treat. We have two brand new directors on with me. We have Joanne and Pepper here with us. And Joanne and Pepper just promoted to director last month. So let's all give them a big hoorah in the chat. Um, we can see your hands, some of you, give them some high fives. And, those of you who get on these every single month, I know you're used to seeing their faces. Joanne and Pepper were regulars of our Rising Leaders Huddle. And it's just more evidence that the more engaged you are, the more connected you are, it really does help you grow. Those who show up, go up, we always say. All right, so I'm going to take a minute and just talk about Pepper and Joanne. So let's start with Joanne. So Joanne actually joined Sensi back in 2014. She reinstated her account. So she left Sensi and then she reinstated her account in 2018. So from 2018 until now, 2021, that's just a few years that it took Joanne to promote to director. And that is such a wonderful achievement. Congratulations, Joanne. I've worked closely with Joanne, even though Joanne is not my front line. I've worked very closely with her, had some coaching calls with her, and I just always knew that she was going to make director happen. I just always saw it in her. She had the drive. She had the teachable spirit. I just knew she was going to make it happen. And so I'm so thrilled to see her achieve that wonderful promotion. I know she's a great leader for her team and they're in good hands with her. And next we have Pepper. Pepper joined us in 2020. Now I was not Pepper's sponsor, but her sponsor has since gone inactive and Pepper rolled up to me. So Pepper is now my front line, which is so exciting for me. I love that. And I've worked closely with Pepper as well. And I know that Pepper has really created something very special in her group. Not a lot of teams have the camaraderie that I see within Pepper's team. And it's a testament to her and her rising leaders within her team. There's wonderful communication, there's wonderful relationships and sharing. It's a really great thing, and it's something you don't see very often. And so I find that really admirable for you, Pepper. And I'm just so excited for you and the future that you have. But yeah, so Pepper joined in 2020 and promoted to director in 2021. I mean, that's pretty amazing. A year. I mean, we're talking a year she did that. So it's just great examples, both Joanne and Pepper, of how you can make this happen. You can make director happen for yourself in a year or easily 2, 3, 4 years. And tonight, each of them are going to answer some of these questions that I have written down that I know are the things that y'all want to know. Okay, and I'm so excited. We have 27 of you on tonight. This is wonderful. Thank you so much for joining, and I know it's going to be worth it. So again, congratulations to Pepper and Joanne on your promotions to director last month, and we are eager and excited to hear from you. So I'm going to just dive right into the questions I have. So the first question that I have for them is, what PRV-focused action, also known as what income-producing task in the PRV category, made the biggest impact on your PRV? If you could just choose one thing, what PRV-focused income-producing task made the biggest impact on your personal PRV consistently every single month? And we will go ahead and start with Joanne. So Joanne, if you can, I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Okay. Hi guys, thank you for joining us. So the biggest thing that has helped me over the year has been parties. Prior to September of last year, I really was not a partier. I do one here or there. It wasn't really something that I cared to do. But after doing trainings and listening to other people, I decided that if I was going to be able to get anywhere, I needed to start focusing more on parties and meeting new people. So I started with my VIPs. I went in and I created a little thing that said, I think it was pick a number or something that I had seen in one of the flyer groups. And I said, I'm just going to give it a try. We're going to see how it goes. And I had pretty good success with it. Two of my VIPs that have been with me forever and ever did a party. And then from there, it just kind of snowballed, and I just kept getting parties every single month. I followed Patricia Moreno, I think is her name. She's an SSD now. I followed her outline that she did in her mock party, and I used her booking bags that she posted. And that's how I was able to get the parties that I have. So that's what I did. And that's the biggest impact. And you hear it from everyone else, and I'm going to say it again, because my PRV went from like, I was getting 2,000, but it was like a struggle because it was just coming from my VIPs. I went from $2,000 in September, and then in November, I had my first $5,000 month. That was simply from having about 8 parties in November. So partying is really where it's at, and if you can get them booked, then I highly suggest that you try any kind of party. It doesn't have to be Facebook. It could be text parties. It could be bag parties. It could just be anything to get your name out there and meet new people. And that's what's really helped me.
Oh my gosh, that's so perfectly said. I couldn't have said it any better. I could not have said it any better. And, you know, it's easy to get into the habit of doing kind of the easy PRV, you know, like with follow-ups and VIP mail. And I'm speaking from myself, from my own experience. It's kind of easy to get your PRV from that and not party. But when you're not partying, you're not growing your network, and you're not booking other parties and meeting new people. And you can see your network kind of start to fizzle out if you are not partying. So I agree with you 150%. That is a great piece of advice. Thank you so much. Okay, so next, Pepper, can you share your tip for your personal business, how you are getting consistent PRV in your business?
I definitely want to say that everything that Joanne just said is absolutely true. Before I was party focused, I struggled getting to that 2,000 PRV consistently. So exactly what Joanne said, I've been very party focused lately, and that's gotten me to my 2,000 very easily. But another thing I want to touch on is networking. I network a lot with other vendors outside of Scentsy, and that's gotten me to grow my network as well as far as customers. I've created actually a vendor group. I did that last year, right before the holiday season, and that got me a lot of new customers. Because basically all the other vendors also poured their customers into the group as well. And a lot of people are shopping online instead of going to the stores. So it was a perfect way to offer holiday shopping. So sometimes if you are big on events, create your own. That really gave me a lot of PRV and a lot of future customers by doing that.
That is such a great idea, a really unique idea too, that I think is such an interesting one. And I hope that y'all took note of that, and it's something that you're going to try in your own businesses. That was such a good idea. Thank you, Pepper. Okay, so next let's do the same exact question, but for recruiting. So what is the number one recruiting focused, like income producing task in the recruiting category that has made the biggest impact on your frontline growth? Because we all know how important it is to grow our frontline, but sometimes we struggle. And this is something that is really important if you want to grow to director and beyond director, right? Is to grow your frontline. So let's go back to Joanne.
So for me, recruiting was something that I really struggled with. So when I first started back in 2018, I had no desire to do anything like leadership. I bought it for myself. And I told my sponsor, I was like, don't expect much from me because I don't know where this is going to go. So then Brittany was my first recruit, and she's on the call tonight. And I was like, I have no idea what I am doing, but we're just going to do this together. And so then fast forward a little bit, and I had gotten a few more, but it wasn't until I watched a training video from Christina Stainbrook on the flipping the $59 kit. I watched that and it changed everything. I always create a party for myself at the beginning of the month. It's kind of like a catch-all. It's for my VIPs to shop from. If I order something for whatever I need, then I place it under that. And I always offer that kit to someone. I try my hardest not to ever have a kit not like still. So that's one thing I do. And I have gotten a lot of my new people that way by offering this kit to them. Because a lot of people are, I wouldn't say leery, but they don't know what to expect. So investing up front is a lot. And when you say 59 compared to 99, people are like, what? Okay, let me see. And so that is one thing that I have really tried to focus on. And like I said, a lot of the last probably 10 or so people that I've gotten on my team have been from this kit.
That's such a good tip. And so many consultants don't even realize that people can earn a kit and all the ins and outs of that. So as leaders, it's a good thing for you to make sure that you understand the ins and outs of how the earn a kit option works, and then educate your teams consistently on how to do that. And even as you were talking, Joanne, it was a good reminder for me that I don't talk about that enough in our group. So thank you for that, because it is something that we have to consistently be sharing with our teams, because we have so many new people coming in, and it's not something we talk about enough, because it really is one of the best ways for people to start the business. So thank you for that. Okay, Pepper.
Recruiting is something that I'm learning how to do. My team, like Katie talks about, is not wide, it's very deep. And I think that's why we're so close. So my goal is to create that width. So as of late, I have been asking every single hostess if they want that kit. And my last probably 3 parties have been flips. So I've been very successful with getting frontline people by flipping those kits, and it's been amazing. Another thing too that I've been thinking about is asking people that Scentsy would maybe solve a problem for. So like a lot of people that we see that fundraise a lot or volunteer a lot, those are perfect people to offer Scentsy to, because Scentsy is actually a vehicle for them to be able to contribute even more to a lot of those community projects that they do. So I know one of my most recent, Missy, she just joined. She does a lot of fundraising, and she has gotten a ton of PRV because she's using Scentsy as a vehicle for that. So
That's such a good point. And I'd love to hear, like, do you have, like, can you give us kind of a general example of when you do offer the earn a kit to your hostess? Do you do that at the very beginning? Do you do that right at the end when we already know what her party total is and what her commission would be on it? Like, tell me how do you plant the seed, and kind of a general idea of what you say?
Typically, I do a lot of hostess coaching at the very beginning, as far as them being involved in their party and making sure that they comment and thank their guests. And most of the time, if the party is very successful, that's when I kind of really start planting that seed. I don't really do it at the beginning. I kind of get a feel for the party first. And I don't know whether that's a mistake or not, but I just kind of get a feel for how good they are as a hostess. And I definitely drive it home at the end. I'm like, hey, if you have $1,000 party, we could easily flip this. You're going to start and you're going to get that 25% commission before the month ends. So
yeah, and I don't think that's a mistake, because clearly it's working for you. So whatever your method is, it's working for you. Whether you're planting that seed at the beginning or the end, it's working for you. So keep doing it.
And I kind of want to add something to that. So I will say, don't ever discredit anybody from the opportunity. Because one of the people that recently joined my team, the only thing that she would really purchase from me was buddies. So she was never, ever on my list of people that I would even offer the opportunity to. So that's kind of one thing that I've kind of shifted my focus on, is basically ask everybody, because you never know who is going to say yes. And also, you were saying about how you see how the party goes. Another thing that I've noticed too is sometimes, or for me, I've had some customers host parties and their parties were not that great at all, but they've joined and they've hit shooting star, or they've hit sensational start, and they've kind of gotten all of that stuff. So that's another thing too, is I kind of like, well, your party might not have been bad, but sometimes I've noticed that people would buy from the hostess rather than me because they know the hostess. So that's another thing too. If it's not necessarily the best party, but they've interacted and they've kind of done that part, I also try not to discredit them with that as well.
Yeah, their engagement makes a huge difference, because if they're engaged in the party, like, you can see, oh, this person would make a good consultant.
Yeah.
So that is a good way to judge as well, and kind of get that feedback as to whether or not they're going to be, a good potential team member. Okay, so question number 3. How are you helping your new recruits find success? And I'm going to start with Pepper this time. How are you helping your new recruits find success? We know that it's important that right off the jump, we're working with them closely to help them, find success early on. So, what would be your biggest tip in that kind of arena, Pepper?
I would definitely say, if I like running their launch parties, unless they're very comfortable on social media. If they're very comfortable on social media and they feel like they can just create their page and go and do it, then I kind of let them do it. But if not, I help them build their page. A lot of times it's their party page that we just flip to their VIP page. And then we just continue on with our launch party. That way their friends are already there. The people who already supported them are already there. And daily communication. I feel like I pretty much communicate with my frontline daily with almost all of them. Some of my locals I have weekly in-person meets with. And I like to just keep them informed with all the new stuff coming out, because I check my workstation every day, but not everyone does. So
I'm muted. I'm sitting here talking. I'm unmuted. Yes, absolutely. Okay, perfect. Great tip. And I think that speaks to what I already see the evidence of in your team. You have great communication with the people in your team, and I can see the evidence of that. So it really does, speak volumes. That not only do you say you're doing that, but I can see that you're doing that. I can see the evidence of that. So thank you for sharing that. Okay, so Joanne, same question to you.
So I also do what Pepper does. If they join, then we just flip their party page into, it becomes their VIP page. But one thing I have them do is I have a form that I have all of my new consultants fill out. And it kind of helps me gauge what exactly they want out of the business. And that way I can more gear how I help them towards that. Because I've had a few that have said, I just strictly am buying for myself. I don't want anything else. So of course I don't put as much effort into those as I would someone that is having this for their business. So, and then if they haven't done a launch party, because I've had a few people just sign up where they haven't done a party, I will help them create that party page and show them how we get started and walk them through how to create their launch party link on their website. And I also found I like checklists because I'm very forgetful. And I normally have two people join around the same time. So I have to have a way to keep up with what I've told who to. So I had done a little bit of research and I had on different forms that people have had. And the one that I found that works for me and that I really liked was a new consultant session from Chastity Robinson. And that just kind of has a checklist on what to do and when to do it. And it kind of gives them homework. So where you're able to just not, like they have to actually do something. So I found that to be pretty helpful on getting people started as well.
Joanne, would you mind, is that a file that you could upload to our files section in the Sunshine State Superstars group?
Yeah, I can do that.
And then when it comes to your Google form, so when she mentioned a form, that's her Google form that she has. So if you wouldn't mind, will you just either copy and paste that link just so everyone can review it, just to kind of get an idea for the people that want to create one, or even just take screenshots of it, whatever you're most comfortable doing, and post that in the actual event for this huddle.
Sure, I can
Not
do
in
that.
the group, but in the event for the huddle. That would be amazing because I know people are gonna love to see that if you're willing to share that.
Yeah, it's no problem at all.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, great tips from everybody so far. I know you guys are loving this too. It's so good to hear from someone who just promoted right now, you know, not somebody who promoted 5 years ago, but somebody who promoted right now. They're doing it as we speak. And I hope that this helps you to see that you can too. And a lot of these actions that they're doing are things you can be doing too. Exact same things they're doing, you can be doing too. And some of you are probably already doing these things, and it's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. You're going to get there. If you're doing these successful actions. Okay, so the next question is, how are you supporting your existing team members? Basically, how are you helping your team members set goals and achieve goals? Set goals and achieve goals. So we know that's an important part of having a successful business, is having a motivated team that you're working with. So what is your biggest tip, your number one biggest tip for that, supporting your team members as they work towards goals? Okay, so Pepper, back to you.
I number one, lead from the front, I guess, like with PRV, parties, samples, that kind of thing, on my group page. I try and call out PRV. Not everyone is very motivated by that, and you kind of have to figure out who those people are. Some people are motivated by being called out and some aren't. So sometimes I private message certain people, but I just want to make sure that I lead from the front as far as PRV. I always show, like, this is where I'm at with PRV, this is what I'm doing. Samples, last month I showed them that I was doing sample packs for my hostesses, and kind of giving them feedback on how that worked, that kind of thing. And I definitely follow up with them like I would a customer. So I know their numbers, and just kind of touch base with them and see where they're at.
Very good advice. And, you know, I think leading from the front is something that easy to say, like, it's easy to say, but like, are we doing it, you know? And like, as leaders, you know, all of y'all watching this, like 500 PRV should be like the minimum. You should be front loading your calendars. So you have 500 PRV by the 15th at the latest, you know, like as leaders, our PRV counts. Our PRV counts towards our team wholesale volume. Our PRV counts towards all of our promotions. So if you're striving and working to promote to the next level, in my opinion, and I think Pepper, you would probably agree, and Joanne, I'm sure you would agree too, like, you can't say, I'm trying to promote, I want to go to the next level, but you're just settling for the bare minimum and just barely putting in your 500 PRV and hoping that your team will make up the rest of that 10,000 group wholesale volume. You got to show up to the table too. Like I said on the training last night, Sunday night for our directors, your house has to be in order before you can help anybody else. And the same is true for y'all. And so Pepper, I love that you said that, because it's true. We got to have our house in order. We got to have our high PRV. We got to be partying. We got to be leading from the front and authentically sharing how we are doing these things. Like Pepper said, she's showing how she's working, what she's doing. And that's why I'm always sharing like my VIP mail and stuff, because that's one of my biggest PRV generators. That's why I'm always sharing it with y'all. As leaders, we just have to simply share what we're doing and how we're doing it, and encouraging others to duplicate that same action. So I love that you said all of that. Thank you so much, Pepper. Okay, Joanne, your turn.
Okay, so I'm a big numbers person. I write down my numbers every single day, as well as my team. But one thing I do is obviously just be their biggest cheerleader with their goal. And I definitely reach out to them. A lot of them I talk to at least once a week. Some of them I talk to a little bit more if they're working towards a goal, or if I know that they are needing something in a specific area, then I will definitely work with them on that a little bit more. But yeah, definitely, I don't tell my team something that I'm not doing myself. And I wouldn't expect them to be doing something that I'm not doing myself. Obviously, like Pepper said, you have to lead from the front, and that's really big for me. But yeah, I like, if they tell me their goals, and I definitely check in with them and see how they're doing, or I'll check their numbers and just be like, hey, you're so close to your goal. What do you need me to help you with, or anything like that. So I really do try and get them to their goals, because for my team, it's not about me. It's about them and what they need and what they want out of this, and that's all what I really want. Because I mean, obviously, if they're getting what they need, then I get what I need as well. So that's really kind of how I do that.
Very well said. It's the arrows out mentality, right, Joanne? Like, and the more people you help, the more you're going to enjoy this business, the more it's going to be emotionally satisfying, and the more it's going to be satisfying to your soul, and the more it's going to be satisfying to your bank account, and the more people's lives you're going to see blessed, including your own. So yes, you need to have your own goals. Yes, you need to be focused on achieving your own goals. But as a leader, your biggest focus should be, who can I serve in my team and how can I serve them? And it's like Joanne was talking about, looking at reports and knowing, and that's where you got to know your reports, y'all. If you don't know your reporting tab yet, that's okay, but get to know it, learn it, watch some trainings on it. Go to the workstation, learn how to use your reporting tab so that you can better serve your team, because you might have the best of intentions, but if you're not looking at the reports and checking these things to see what you can celebrate or what you can support, then you won't know how to do that. Okay, last question. All right, so did you ever doubt that this would happen for you? Did you ever doubt that you would promote to director? Did you ever doubt that it would actually happen for you? And if so, we already know the answer is yes. So yes, because we all doubted it, right? If so, how did you overcome that thought? How did you overcome those emotions and those challenges? Pepper, I'm going to start with you.
Sorry. There might be some background noise. I'm sorry. Honestly, for me, it was after getting over how hard it was for me to ask people to join me, join my team, is when I realized that there wasn't a ceiling here. I didn't really want that at the beginning until I found out how fun it was to see my customers overjoyed with the products and loving the products and wanting to be repeat customers. And I really love running this business, and I wanted my friends to run it with me. And that's what got me over the doubt. I just love the team atmosphere. There's no competition. Like there is no competition attitude on my team. We're not competing against each other. We're here with each other. And that's what removed all the doubt for me, is we really are here together as a team.
So I like what you said. By the way, somebody just told me in the chat that Jason's Zoom has already reached its max 100 attendees. So I'm sure Candy's going to record it though. So I had a feeling that would happen anyway. So y'all, if you're on here, don't worry, you can't get on Jason's Zoom anyway. So don't worry about it. It's already over. But Pepper, I love what you said too at the beginning about how you really had to overcome a discomfort with offering the business opportunity to people. Can you tell us even a little bit more about that?
I wasn't confident enough in myself being successful, and that this business was going to be more than just a hobby. When I realized that I had those repeat customers and my customers loved it as much as I loved it, and then I started asking people to join, and it just became, every hostess that I had, it did great, and I asked them to join, and it became very comfortable. And I loved, I mean, like you said, we have a really strong bond on our team, and it's because we really are there for each other. And it's become very comfortable for me to ask people to join the team, and I think that's the joy that I get from it.
Mm-hmm.
Every party hostess, like I said, my parties are really, really hands-on. I do like lives Monday through Friday. So I do one live a day. So I really get to know my hostesses. I really get to know the people in there. So I think that also helps me asking people to join too.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think that's great. And you realize too, like, because you have such a great community that you're building, I think that also helps your confidence in bringing people into it, because you know the value in that, you know? So love it. Thank you so much.
mm-hmm.
Okay, last but not least, Joanne. So did you ever doubt that you would promote to director? Did you ever think it just wasn't in the cards for you? Did you ever have struggles like that? And if so, how did you overcome those struggles?
Well, yes. Because like I said in the beginning, I had no desire to do any of this. And then when I started getting a few recruits here and there, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I can really do this, because I'm a really shy person. Like, doing this is so out of my comfort zone. But that's one thing I love about Cincy, is that you have, like, it pushes you out of your comfort zone. You have to meet new people. You have to talk to people. And yeah, asking people to host a party or asking people to join your team, it's kind of scary. It's intimidating sometimes. But it's one of the things that I just had to learn, that people are going to say no. I've said no to hosting a party or joining someone's team. But you're going to find people that say yes. So you just have to ask. But there, even earlier this year, you guys, and I'm going to be completely honest. There are times where I told my husband, I was like, I'm just going to give up. I worked basically from November of last year to May, June. So from the whole time I was like, it was Cincy all the time with parties. My calendars were fully booked, and burnout is a real thing. And I think it really just hit me, and I'm just like, I'm like, is this something that I want to keep doing? Like, I'm tired. I'm tired. But I was like, no, I'm not going to do that to my team. They don't deserve that. And then Katie had posted in the page that there was a going to be like a team thing called Dinner with Directors. So I decided that I was just going to jump on that call, and it really put everything in perspective for me. Those calls, hearing people's stories, you guys, it's really inspiring. And then there's one that really stuck out to me, and her name was Vanessa Rowe. And one of the things that she says is the urge to quit is always the highest right before a breakthrough happens. And that kind of stuck to me. And I'm like, no, I can't give up. I have to keep going. I know there's something at the end of this. If I just keep going and pushing all of my hard work that I've been doing, everything that I do for my team, it will pay off. And obviously that happened because I'm here. So that's one thing that really stuck with me. And just hearing other people's stories. I've been really watching a lot of training, and some of the things that Katie has posted for us to watch. And that's kind of where it just got me, is hearing people that are just like me that have been through the same thing. I know there was one on the Cincy family reunion. She's now an SSD, but she quit and then she came back as a reinstatement, and that's what happened with me. So it's just really just working and working hard. Like Katie says, the 2 to 5 year plan will pay off. So that's really what I have just been doing, and knowing that quitting isn't an option for me. It's got me here, so I just have to keep going.
Very, very well said. And yeah, I'm glad that you said that, because we work so hard as we work towards our goals, and we're laser focused on our goals, and burnout is real, and we have to make time to rest. If we don't make time to rest, that's when we quit. That's when we give in, is because we've just overworked ourselves, and we're not meant to do that. And like on our director huddle on Sunday, I was talking about that. And I was just talking about personally how in my 2 to 5 year plan season, it was like 4 years for me. My 2 to 5 year plan was 4 years for me. And there were times when I was just working crazy, like I had a full-time job, and then Friday night I'd do a home party, Saturday I'd do a vendor event, Sunday I'd do another party, and I was doing that like every weekend. And it got to the point where I was so burnt out, I was miserable. And so I said, I need to change things. So I did it to where I had one weekend every single month where I had no Scentsy all weekend. It was just fun, just me and my husband time. And you have to find, I don't like to call it a work-life balance, but y'all, you have to make sure you are making time for rest. Yes, you got to hustle hard. Yes, if you want, especially if you're like, hey, I want to do that. I want to do the 2 to 5 year plan. I want to make 6 figures in 2 to 5 years. You got to hustle hard, but you have to rest. So I'm so glad that you said that, Joanne, because it's something that we don't talk about enough. You have to make time to rest so you can protect your peace, and so you don't burn out, and so you don't start to hate your business, so you can be the best you for your customers, and the best you for your team, and the best you for your family, and the best you for your significant other. That's how you do that. So, and that's why, like on these action plans and stuff that I've shared with you guys in the past, one of the action plans is for your own personal development and rest. Don't leave that out. Do the things that feed your soul, whether it's a daily Bible study, whether it's, going to get a pedicure once or twice a month, whatever it is, that feeds your soul, that makes you feel like resting and relaxing, restful and relaxed. Do that. So I'm really glad that you said that. Yes, the seat on the 3 legs to success is self-care. That's exactly right, Chrissy. Exactly right. Absolutely right. I love that. The 3 legs to success that Chloe and Justin shared. If you have that handy, Chrissy, not to like put you on the spot, but if you have that handy, will you post the picture of that in the event for this group for the people that maybe don't know what that is? If not, I can post it, but I know I'm going to forget. I know I'm going to forget. Okay, y'all, that was amazing. Was that not so inspiring? I'm going to put on the gallery view so we can see everyone's faces. That was so inspiring, wasn't it? Yes, use the chat. Thank you so much, Joanne and Pepper, for sharing your authentic selves. And like Pepper said, there's no competition here. Joanne and Pepper were here tonight to share with you their authentic selves and exactly how they got to where they are today. And if you wouldn't mind, ladies, I would just love, just if you want to just kind of make one final statement to everybody on here, just in the vein of encouraging them to keep going, or kind of in that same vein, maybe to somebody who's feeling a little discouraged, like, I really want this and it's just not happening yet, kind of maybe somebody who's in that headspace. If you would just share a little message that you feel like is on your heart to that type of person who's watching. Pepper, I'm going to have you go first.
I think one of the pep talks I've had with my my girls that were looking really, really close to promoting last month to different titles is sometimes it needs to happen organically. Sometimes we push and push and push and push. For example, in May, I was pushing to possibly promote to director last May. But if I would have done that, there's no way I would have qualified in June or July. Sometimes it just needs to happen when it happens. It doesn't mean don't push, but don't get down if you don't, because it will happen when it happens for a reason. Because now I think I'm in that place now because I am growing my front line to where I'm gonna hit that 10,000 every single month because I let it happen organically instead of pushing in a time when I was not ready.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's great advice. Absolutely great advice. Okay, Joanne.
Okay, Pepper, that was amazing. Like that, I'm with you, because last November we were just like, I think we had like less than 1,000 wholesale volume that we needed, and we didn't make it. But like you said, it was for a reason. So that was amazing. I think for me, it would just be just really just don't give up when it gets hard. Like Katie always says, I'm nobody special. I started the same exact place you did, but working hard and just, I don't know, everybody inspires me. I follow a few leaders, and you just have to find that person that inspires you. Like Katie is one of them for me. So I think that really, really helps. And it's not to compare yourself. I think that's the biggest thing, is you can't compare yourself to someone else, because we're all in different places in our business and even in our lives. So that's one thing. If like, just don't, you can follow, but just don't compare what somebody else is doing. because that definitely won't help you. It will just make you upset.
Yeah, that quote, comparison is the thief of joy. It's so true.
Yes.
That is the quickest way to suck all the joy out of your business. Absolutely right. Well, Joanne, Pepper, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time tonight to do this and come in and talk with everybody. I hope y'all are just as inspired as I feel from hearing them and hearing their stories. And if you're not already following them on social media, follow them on social media so you can, learn from these new directors and see what they're doing, because I know they're sharing on social media. And just thank you so much for joining us tonight. Make sure that you mark your calendars to join us next month. It's always the second Tuesday of every month at 9 p.m. And don't forget, the first Tuesday of every month at 9 p.m. is our all consultant huddle, which I'd love for y'all to join that and for you to encourage all of your team members to join it as well. So I'm going to stop the recording now.